author and nutritionist Robert Ferguson. Please welcome Robert Ferguson.
All right, y'all, let's hear it for America's Fat Loss Coach, Robert Ferguson!
Woo! This is Roberto Lorenzo Ferguson coming to you for the second time in one day. You know what? I just had to do this. I really did. So I want to welcome you guys. If you're here for the first time, my name is Robert Ferguson. I'm a nutritionist. I'm a guy who helps people improve metabolic health. That includes everything from, blood pressure, getting off statins, improving cholesterol, losing weight, improving triglycerides, and learning how to create habits that last so that when you make progress, you're able to hang on to it and it's sustainable. It's something you can live with. Now, if you're here for the first time, I want to say welcome. If you would like to share this with other people, please do so. Whether you're catching this on LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube, please do so. Now, the focus of our time together is on what most people don't know about the scale. I'm going to say it one more time. What most people do not know about the scale. And when I talk about the scale, we're talking about your weight, your health, all the things that most of us are thinking about when it comes to the scale. The scale can be your friend on some days, and it can be your worst enemy on other days. If you're working with a personal trainer, if you're working with a nutritionist, a dietitian, a physician, what I'm going to share with you right now, if I do a good job, you'll get it. And as a result of you getting it, you'll reflect and go, why haven't they told me what I just learned from Robert on Facebook or on whatever the social media platform you're catching this on? Why are you just now learning this? Why don't more people talk about what I'm about to share with you? And it's elementary. And when I'm on boards or panels, even though the people on the panels, the other experts, haven't talked about it, when I talk about it, they always go, yep, I agree. And so I look at them and I go, well, you ever teach your clients this? You ever post about this? You ever explain this to people? Or are you just agreeing? Because it's an injustice if you're not sharing what we're talking about, what I'm about to share, with other people. And the reason why I'm inspired to share this right now at this very moment is because I'm real big on people being informed. I want you to be informed. If it's two people that know what I'm about to share, and I know my clients get it because I this is part of what I do with my clients. And I hope our certified diet-free life coaches are teaching this with their clients and get them to a place where they can get this because it can help them for the rest of their lives. Understanding the scale and just really taking a moment and making time to explain it to someone. Because often days we wake up in the morning, we get on the scale, and let me know if I'm telling the truth or if you think I'm lying, call me on it. You get on the scale, and if the number goes up on the scale, many of us are real quick to be discouraged, to feel a little frustrated. Hallelujah. Give me an amen. Somebody. And when the weight on the scale goes down, it's going to be a good day. Yeah. Now, someone, they're in probably one of our private groups, they made a comment. They said, it is so difficult not to let the weight on the scale dictate how you feel about yourself. Thank you for posting that. I wish I could acknowledge your name, but when you're in one of our private groups and you post, unless you have to put a dash, like if you're in our Diet Free Life group or like in a private group, like with the coaches, you got to do a dash and then put your name and then I can highlight you. But man, thank you for making that post, because she nails it here, or he nails it. It is so difficult not to let the weight on the scale dictate how we feel about ourselves. So let me ask you this, or let me point this out. Do you know what the word indoctrination means? How many people know what that means? Well, if you're indoctrinated, that means it could go back to a very young age where you're taught certain things. Like, people are indoctrinated with religion, right? So you grow up thinking that, you know, Jesus is the Son of God. So you're indoctrinated to believe that, right? And then you have the Bible, and all those things support it. And then you're around a whole bunch of people that also believe the same way. That's a form of indoctrination. Indoctrination could be growing up and thinking that, black people are bad, and that, white folks, if you're Caucasian, again, that's another form of indoctrination. So sometimes kids are raised a certain way to believe and think a certain way. They've been indoctrinated. And when someone goes to medical school, they're indoctrinated to believe that putting you on blood pressure medication is really the right thing to do. Making sure you take your statins and pushing statins on you. They're indoctrinated. The same way as people are indoctrinated in those examples, people are indoctrinated to give credit to what the scale says. Since the beginning of the 1900s, somewhere between 1917 and 1921, the bathroom scale became a reality. And in the 50s and 60s, more people had access to a scale, same as they had access to a black and white television and a color television. And when you go to the doctor, right, as soon as you walk into the doctor's office, they have you step on the scale, they check your height, they check your weight, they compare it to something, whether they open up that cabinet door, and today they have iPads, and they kind of give you an idea of where you are as far as a percentile. And oftentimes they'll say, you could lose about 10 pounds, or, you could lose some weight. That's part of the indoctrination on their side, and it's part of the indoctrination on our side through our experience. So since you were a little bitty baby, all the way up to now, when you did Weight Watchers, it was all about the scale. When you went to Jenny Craig, it was all about the scale. When you did the cabbage soup diet and the Atkins diet, everything was about the scale. So the reason you think that way, when you grew up watching your mom be concerned about her weight, it was about the scale. The scale became the end all be all, the almighty of all things, on whether or not you're making progress or not. Hallelujah. Now, at this point, if someone comes in and they missed all that I just said, they may have a hard time getting what I'm about to tap into. Because you could go to work, you could be working for the smartest person in the world. It could be Steve Jobs, it could be Elon Musk, and they have been indoctrinated. As smart as they all are, they look at their weight on the scale as a sign to how healthy they are. Think about what I just said. The smartest people in the world have been indoctrinated when it comes to the scale. And what I'm going to share with you right now, you could break that mold. I've been teaching this for years, you guys. And I meet people, oh yeah, I'm down to 170. I don't give 2 cents about what you're down to, but I know that you are putting all your eggs in the basket of what you're down to. Now, the weight on the scale, when you understand all that I'm talking about, is definitely something to talk about. But when people talk about the weight on the scale, they're not talking about it the way I'm looking at it, right? So when I look at my client, Linda, who's about to hit 100-pound weight loss, and Linda's catching me as I'm doing this live, and I'm happy you're here, Linda. We're looking at her body composition the entire time. Is it 100 pounds of fat she's losing? Is it 100 pounds of muscle she loses? Like what are we losing? That's number one. But that's not the focus here. Because the focus here, I'm going to help some of you guys break this scale thing. Because I hear it all the time when I get on the call with clients. And the ones who I think get it, 2 weeks later, I realize they don't get it. I wish I could just get some soap, a sponge, and get inside of their head and just scrub it big time. And put them in a clear place where they could start anew. But I understand that we've been indoctrinated. If you're a 65-year-old woman, 78-year-old woman, 83-year-old man, look at the years of indoctrination around crediting the scale. Man, that's a hard habit to break. But the way you break that habit is you have to create doubt in what they believe and then show them a new way. So that's my goal. That's my goal. Let's get into this. This is gonna be a good one. Now, if you're a coach and you're catching this, I work with the coaches and train them. I'm sure, and I don't know exactly what's going to come out of this. I just know that somebody is about to become informed in a way where they're going to be empowered. They're going to be empowered. Okay. So let me see. So Sandy, what's up, Sandy Silver? I'm glad you caught this live. This is my second one today. She says, because of you, I now weigh weekly. I use it as a guide, and I strongly recommend that we weigh weekly. But again, our progress and our health status is not based on our weight on the scale. It's just one thing that we look at. We also look at a waist measurement. We also look at how you're feeling. We also look at your fasting glucose. We also look at your body fat percent. We look at a lot of things. But most people, even the real thin, healthy people you see on, Facebook and sharing their wisdom, they are always talking about weight on the scale. And I get it. From a marketing standpoint, that's what you got to market because that's what most people understand. Okay. Let me see. Someone makes a comment. I find myself constantly putting off going to the doctor only because of my anxiety about stepping on their scale and wondering what the comments will be. That is another good one. Who the hell is this sharing these nuggets? Okay. That was a great nugget. Here's the deal, you guys. Okay. Let's keep it real. This is great. I'm glad I was motivated. I don't know, something moved me to just jump on and do this. I've had many of my clients over the years when they understand what I'm about to share, they'll go to their doctors and the doctor will say, all right, let's get on the scale. And they'll go, I'm not getting on your scale. They just won't do it. And then I've had some say what their weight is, and they'll tell the doctor, you don't have to get on their scale. Now, let's say you get on their scale, then you can say, hey, I just want you to know my body fat percentage is this. You can share, you know what I mean? You can share more with them. Now, they may not get body composition because they're indoctrinated. Again, you got to go back to the beginning to understand what we mean by indoctrination. They're indoctrinated to just look at your weight compared to the average of the population and give their little 2 cents. And a lot of times when they give their 2 cents, they could actually get on the program. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So I'm going to ask you guys some questions. I got some good people here. We got some good people. This is fun. All right. So participate with me. Stay with me. I promise not to keep you too long. Let's go with a woman who weighs 200 pounds. Because I had this conversation this morning. And I said, actually I had it with a couple of clients. And it was a breakthrough moment for them. And I'm going to share this with you. I said, a 200-pound woman steps on the scale. Now, if she puts 100 pounds or she puts a pound of rocks in her pocket before she steps on the scale, she won't weigh 200 pounds. She'll weigh 201 pounds. So let's say she takes the rocks out and she steps on the scale. Let's say she's naked. She steps on the scale and she's naked and she weighs 200 pounds. Of the 200 pounds that we can see on that scale, she looks down, she can see her feet and she can see, it says 200 pounds. How much of that weight on that scale that says 200 pounds is water? Come on. Who wants? This is where the nuggets are, right here. I'm sharing the nuggets right now. There's a lot of people that are into personal training. They are into nutrition. They are on Facebook and YouTube talking about, health and wanting to help people. There's a whole bunch of people, and they will miss what we're sharing right now. They don't know. I'm telling you, when you know this and you get with people who are the so-called experts and you share this, it will quickly demonstrate to you how informed you are, because they don't know. Think about the people who are selling Herbalife or selling, Beachbody or Bodhi products, or selling whatever network marketing products as a wellness person, and they don't know this. They don't know the basics of this, because if they did, it would change how they sell certain products. It will change everything, or they would just be a downright liar. See, when you're informed, you can spot it. If you don't know any better and someone talks fast and they talk louder than you and they talk quicker and you don't know the basics, okay, you can be hoodwinked. But if you know, you can let them talk and you say, oh, that's great. Now, I know you lost 20 pounds, but 20 pounds of what? And they'll look at you and go, like, what do you mean? Was it fat weight? Was it water? Was it bone? Like, what kind of weight did you lose? Congratulations. I'm just curious, because I really want to lose fat weight. My skeletal muscle and my bones are very important to me. So that weight I don't want to lose, but I definitely would like to lose fat weight. So how much of your 20 pounds that you lost is fat weight? And watch how they scramble. They're going to scramble because they don't know. That wasn't part of the protocol. So my question is, out of 200 pounds, how much of the 200 pounds, and we're being conservative, would be water? I don't want percentages. I want to know weight. I want you to get your mind to think weight. And this is where my clients this morning made the shift. Out of 200 pounds, because that's weight. That's not percentages. We don't want to do apples and oranges. We want to go apples with apples. This is where you're going to get it. So if you weigh 200 pounds, okay. I like it. Kimberly, thank you for answering. She says 100 poundish. So it's a question back to me. On a bare minimum, it's going to be 100 pounds. You have 200 pounds, but 100 of those pounds is water. And that water is in your muscles, is in your bones, is in your brains, is in your organs, is in your fat. It's water. You have 100 pounds of water. 100 pounds. I think that's, I'm guessing, let's say that 1 gallon of water is 10 pounds. So that means you have 10 pounds or 10 gallons of water in your body. You put it on the scale. That's a lot of water. And so the rest of that would be fat, muscle, bone, your hair, your earrings, your watch, the wallet that you have in your pocket, the pants, the shirt, the things that you're wearing would make up the other weight. If you haven't done number 2 in 2 or 3 days, you got a excess amount of that inside of you. That's part of the weight. Water. Now, this is where it gets fun. This is where it gets really fun. And this is what separates the informed from the uninformed. Okay, this is where it starts to get really good. Okay, thank you, Ruth. Ruth brought clarity. I think she says 1 gallon weighs 8 pounds. So that's like 11 and a half pounds. Actually, more than that. Okay, let's do the math on that, because I want to remember this for the rest of my life. So if someone, so we got 8. So we know 8 gallons would be 80 pounds. 11 would be 88 pounds. 96 pounds would be 12. So basically we're looking at 12 and a half gallons of water would be 100 pounds. Wow. Wow. Imagine, like, think about it. Like, imagine you have 12 and a half gallons of water sitting on the floor or on your kitchen table, and you weigh 200 pounds. That's how much water you have in your body. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. It gets interesting because I did a talk on this the other day. And the talk that I gave, I talked about this hormone called vasopressin. And in that talk, we went into great detail to when you're dehydrated, your vasopressin levels are elevated. And when vasopressin is elevated, that means your kidneys are going to hold on to more water. If you eat steak because you're dehydrated, it will pull the water from that and hold it. If you're dehydrated, whatever you eat, it will pull the water from that and it will hold it. See, vasopressin is a hormone that is produced in your brain, and it helps you conserve water, which also equates to fat storage. See, when you eat, let's say you had a pretzel. So my client had like a couple small cupcakes. She didn't drink much water that day. Her vasopressin levels go up in the blood, and then vasopressin uses this sugar called fructose to drive fat storage and insulin resistance. You hang on to water. And when they test people who are obese or have a good amount of excess body fat, their vasopressin levels are high. The only time vasopressin levels plummets, like for a bear, is when they're in hibernation. See, this is a hormonal thing. This is not just about calories. My client today, who I was talking to, she felt like she did everything right. She stepped on the scale. The weight was the exact same weight as last week. And as we walked through, she realized she didn't drink much water the day before she did her weigh-in. And then she had a couple of cupcakes. Causes the vasopressin to go up, causes her to retain water. She retains water, you're heavier on the scale. Come on, you guys. If you get this, you will not let the scale mess with you unless you know you are hydrated. And when you wake up in the morning, you walk into that bathroom, you've already urinated. Maybe you've gone, you've gone to the restroom. You didn't drink coffee, you didn't drink anything. And when I was talking to my client, she goes, Robert, I keep water on my nightstand. As soon as I wake up, I had a couple of drinks of water. A little bit of time went by, and then I weighed myself. I didn't even think about that. So the day before I was dehydrated, the day before I had a couple cupcakes, there were a good amount of sugar in that would definitely trigger this biologic switch. And when you're dehydrated, you're going to hold more water. Your weight will be up. When I would work with professional athletes, okay, hear me on this. This is another nugget for you guys. And mostly boxers. I got paid and I got high accolades because I was really good at helping them get to a certain weight without feeling deprived. What do you think I did the day before the big weigh-in? I had them drink a lot of water. A lot of water. Because I didn't want them retaining any water. So if you're my client or you're working with any of our coaches, if you're going to weigh in on a Friday, drink a lot of water on Thursday. I mean, all the way up until the time you go to bed, because then you won't sleep well. But drink a good amount of water from the morning all day. If you know you're going to weigh in the next day and that is your day, then drink a lot of water. Drink water before your meal and between your meals. Just be as hydrated as possible. And then you'll get a little bit more. When I say little, I'm meaning big. Clarity on what your real weight is. If you're drinking a good amount of water and then you don't, then you step on the scale, vasopressin's high, you're retaining water. Your kidneys are hanging on the water. When your kidneys know that if their water is coming, they will release and release and release. You'll get a better reading on that damn scale. Is this making sense? Is this making sense? So I'm gonna end with a quick little story, and then I gotta go. But this is a big one, because if you notice, for those who are doing the detox drop, part of the program is that we are drinking water. You wake up in the morning, before you do anything, you're drinking a cup of water with some lemon, squeezed lemon. Before you eat a meal, before you have a snack, you're drinking water. You're encouraged to drink water, drink water, drink water. That's one of the reasons why people, when they perform the detox drop, get really good results on the scale. And because of the foods they're eating, food is medicine, they're getting some really good results based on reducing inflammation and all the other things. It's the structure. There's no room for games and playing and getting outside. You're mindful because everything is planned out. You see, it's a diet, but it's for 7 days. And then we transition back to the Diet Free Life methodology. But some of the things that you really liked when you did the detox drop, you can maintain. And you're a little bit more knowledgeable and aware and educated. That makes it way easier. Man, it's so nice to be informed. If you guys could be in the room with me or be a fly on the wall when I meet people and they start talking crazy, because I've been meeting a whole bunch of them and they just talk nutrition like they got it. I have people saying, oh, well, I'm eating this. Well, try it. And I go, and I get it. And I'm not making fun of them. I'm really not. I'm not. Because most of the people that I meet, I don't just walk away quiet and let them just keep being crazy. And when I say crazy, I'm not being mean. I'm just using that as a way of just talking. I'm talking crazy. Call me crazy. But I will let them share their thoughts. And then they'll say, so what do you think? Yeah, I would never do that. I'm going to be honest. In big meetings, we'll be in big meetings and we'll have a physician make a comment. I mean, Robert, you know what I mean by that. Nah, that's not something I would do. I have no problem being honest and sharing my opinion at first and then substantiating it, and it becomes more of a fact. I'm not just going to let people talk crazy. They really do. I mean, if you look at nutrition, I mean, I'm surprised people don't get in fights over nutrition the way they do with politics, because a lot of it is pretty similar. And maybe one day it will become crazy like that. But right now, please understand the role of water. For all these years, when you step on the scale, for years people stepped on the scale at Weight Watchers, and water was not a big. They would say drink water the same as they would say eat more vegetables, but it wasn't part of why your weight on the scale wasn't lower or higher. If it was, many of you who are catching this live or the replay, you would say, oh no, when I went to Weight Watchers, water was like, they taught us exactly what you just said. I will put money that they did not teach what I'm sharing right now. I will put money that they are not teaching this. I will put money that the average personal trainer, because there's some that are, but the average personal trainer, the average nutritionist, the average physician, they are not explaining what I just explained. I will bet everything on it. And that's why people who know me or work with me for years, you know that I just always keep it real. Because if this was common knowledge and everybody knew it, you guys would call me on it. I just will bet everything. I know they're not doing it. You guys tell me, I'm telling you, I know they're not teaching this. They're not, because they don't know. And many of them become my clients, so I know they don't know. I'm starting to feel like a Baptist preacher, man. If I start doing this, like they say that I'm supposed to do 3 lives a day. And when I say they, the people who, and they're probably right. And, and maybe I'll get there, and, some people may silence me. They go, he talks too much. I don't want to hear they don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to be informed. Okay. Stay blind. That's why, I love it when people call me, and it's one of the most, and I'm ending here, you guys. I'm ending here because they'll call me and say, do you really want to have this conversation? And it's always someone that's new in wellness and they're selling some network marketing product. And I'm like, okay, out of respect, I'm going to give you, let's talk, but I'm going to call you on your shit. I'm the wrong person to be. You go find someone who's gullible and who's uninformed when it comes to nutrition and health and weight loss. I'm the wrong person to bring that stuff to. And many of them are still my Facebook friends, and I see them all the time. And I see them, they'll like certain things, but they don't want to put me in front of their customers because they don't want their customers to be informed. Because then they would become a lie. Just think about what I'm saying. Because they would rather make money and keep selling their products that they know is bullshit. But people will give politicians a hard time because they do it. But then on a real small level, I see them doing it. I mean, come on. Anyway, let's end on a funny note. One of my clients, and I'm going to say goodbye. One of my clients was 183 pounds. We were working really hard to get to 180. She did everything right. I mean, I gave her like a plan. We went down to the T. She did not waver at all. She wakes up on Monday morning, gets on the scale, and she's still 183 pounds. So what do you think happened when we got on the phone? Let me tell you, she was discouraged. She was frustrated. She was done. So I'm talking to her, and in talking to her, I tell her that my daughters had gotten their hair done. They got extensions in, and I was telling her how expensive it was. She goes, oh, yeah, I know all about that. This weekend, I got my hair done. Now, do you guys see where I'm going with this? Now, if you don't know what extensions are, your hair gets really long. You have to buy all of this hair. They have to braid it all in and all of this stuff. And that hair weighs pounds. So when she said that, I go, excuse me, you got your hair done this weekend? She goes, oh, yeah, Saturday I was in there for like 12 hours getting my hair done, blah, blah, blah. And she's telling me, and I asked her, like, my daughters had just done it also. And so I'm like, I had to go to the store and buy all of these braids and stuff that would be weaved in. And I had some packages. So I grab them, I'm looking at them, and there's weight to it. So I'm laughing inside. And then I said, I'm not going to say her name because she may hear this. One of the funniest moments ever. She had put about 3.5 pounds of hair weaved into her hair. And here it is. She wasn't even thinking about that. This woman was down to 179.5 pounds. But because she added 3.5 pounds of hair to her hair, she was at the same weight. And once she realized it, after I brought it to her attention, we both laughed. Right? We both laughed. And Sandy, you got it. Oh my goodness, you guys. Oh my goodness. And I had another client. Here's the bonus. She had woke up in the morning early. She didn't want to wake up her husband. The scale was in the bathroom where their master bathroom. So she leaves. She goes into the kitchen. She has some water. Then she makes some coffee. And she's not thinking about it. And then she steps on the scale. And she was so discouraged. She was so discouraged. And when we reverse engineered everything, and she realized she had consumed about 2.5 pounds of liquids. It doesn't take much. When you buy one of those little bottles of water, you can get it at almost any grocery store. That's a pound. So 8 ounces, a cup, is a half a pound. And if you drink 2 pounds, or if you drink 1 pound of water, right? If you step on the scale, you're 180, step off the scale, drink 2 cups of water, step back on the scale, you're 181. If you step off and have another 2 cups of water, you're 182. We drink about 6 to 10 pounds of water a day, but we're constantly urinating it out, sweating it out, it evaporates in the body, right? But we're drinking pounds of water. So during the night when you go to sleep, your body is using that water. That water is evaporating constantly, not just through urinating. It's evaporating, it's burning off. It's like steam. It's like if you take a cup of water and just set it on a table, it won't just a cup of water won't just stay a cup of water forever. As time goes by, it's going to like drop down. The same thing is happening in our body, but faster. We're at 96.8 degrees, right? Or 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. That's our temperature. So we're burning up water constantly. And when you sleep, your body's using that water. So when you wake up, go use the restroom. Don't drink any water. If you can be naked, and then step on the scale. There you go. This was a good one, man. Share this with some people. Tag some people. Because if they take a moment and just learn what we just went over, it would be very helpful to them. And they will be less likely to fall prey to the negatives that can take place when you base your progress on the weight on the scale. If you want to learn more, I'm Robert Ferguson. Visit us at dietfreelife.com. Until the next one.